Another massacre. Uvalde, Texas. An elementary school. Beautiful, innocent, second, third, fourth graders.
There, President Biden addressing the nation following the mass shooting at an elementary school in Texas. The gunman killing 19 kids and 2 adults in the tragedy. The 18-year-old suspect was killed by responding law enforcement. The shooting happened in the rural community of Uvalde yesterday. That's about an hour west of San Antonio and about 60 miles from the Mexico border. We have team coverage this afternoon with what Milwaukee Public Schools is doing to help kids deal with yet another mass shooting here in America, and what both sides of the aisle are saying about gun control now. But we begin with NBC's Wendy Woolfolk and the new developments on this investigation. Take a listen.
We are getting new information about what transpired on this small elementary school campus in South Texas. According to the Texas Department of Public Safety, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos barricaded himself into a 4th grade classroom here and started shooting anyone in his way. Law enforcement officers went around breaking windows so students and teachers could escape. Border Patrol agents were able to shoot and kill the suspect, who lived with his grandparents fairly close to Robb Elementary. Investigators are still trying to sort out details of why the suspect first shot his grandmother before making his way to the school. She survived, but is in critical condition at a hospital in San Antonio. Investigators believe she is a key witness as to what is behind this unspeakable horror. DPS says the shooter has no criminal history or gang affiliation, but they are combing social media to see if there are any red flags. There is a sliver of positive news to report. A 4th grade teacher who underwent an intensive surgery overnight did survive. However, there are still multiple people hospitalized, so the death toll here could still rise. That's the latest in Uvalde, Texas. I'm Wendy Woolfolk, NBC News.
Yeah, each detail just gets even more chilling. Take a look at your screen here. At least 6 victims have been publicly identified by family members. Among those killed, 10-year-old Annabelle Guadalupe Rodriguez, 10-year-old Uzziah Garcia, 10-year-old Xavier Lopez, 9-year-old Ameri Jo Garza, and those 2 teachers, Eva Morales and Irma Garcia. Wow. Well, the shooting at Robb Elementary is the 4th worst school shooting in U.S. history, behind a shooting in Michigan in 1927, Virginia Tech, and Sandy Hook. 4 of the top 10 happened in just the last 10 years. Well, here at home, Milwaukee Public School leaders are saying they are increasing security today following that shooting. However, they did not give us any specifics, saying that would defeat the purpose. So in a statement, they also say that anyone impacted by this tragedy will receive the support that they need. And in light of the tragedy in Uvalde, our Elaine Rojas Castillo spoke with a parent who says they brought their children to school today with a heavy heart and a plea for change.
Just hours after 19 elementary school students and 2 teachers were gunned down in Uvalde, Texas, Wesley Soto brought his 2 children to school, shaken from what he saw and heard.
Yo tengo hijos de esa misma edad, de los cuales me preocupo, ¿no? Por su seguridad. Y de verdad que es algo preocupante saber que un niño de tal edad, ¿verdad? Llega a ese extremo de matar a otros niños y a su familia.
Wesley says while the work to prevent these types of tragedies begins in the home, he wants more support from those in power who he says can actually make a change.
A veces nosotros por ser latinos, a veces somos discriminados, echados hacia un lado, nos ven como un número más dentro de la comunidad, no nos ven como personas, ¿sí? Pienso que debe de haber un mejor trabajo, no sé, de parte del gobierno, de parte de la comunidad, de parte de todos. Esto es un trabajo de todos, de verdad, esto es un trabajo de todos.
Reporting in Milwaukee, Elaine Rojas Castillo, TMJ4 News.
A lot of people speaking out. Well, in Washington, President Biden and the Democrats are renewing calls for stricter gun control laws to stem the number of mass shootings in this country. But on Capitol Hill, there's little agreement about what, if anything, can be done. President Biden found himself wondering why these mass shootings don't seem to happen anywhere else in the world, while Republican Senator Ted Cruz says stricter gun control won't prevent crime.
The idea that an 18-year-old kid can walk into a gun store and buy 2 assault weapons is just wrong. What in God's name do you need an assault weapon for except to kill someone?
You know, inevitably, when there's a murder of this kind, you see politicians try to politicize it. You see Democrats and a lot of folks in the media whose immediate solution is to try to restrict the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens. That doesn't work. It's not effective. It doesn't prevent crime.
There will be a lot of eyes on our lawmakers today and in the days to follow. Wisconsin's senior Senator Ron Johnson says there are no adequate words to express the horror at Robb Elementary. And Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin is calling on her colleagues to step up, asking how many more times will we talk about the lives lost to gun violence and accept doing nothing. And when mass shootings happen, parents have to figure out how to talk to their kids about this violence. Pediatric experts expect to have some advice. They say limiting media exposure and making space for kids to express big feelings are good places to start.
It can be really good to talk about the helpers in these situations. You know, Mr. Rogers always said, look for the helpers. And we know that's absolutely true, that for as many people out there that are trying to do harm, there's a lot of safe people in the world too.
Well, as we try to piece this all together, you can read the reaction from other Wisconsin and Milwaukee leaders and find the latest on the investigation on TMJ4.com and, of course, on our streaming app.